Hello, a very good evening to you. Welcome to ITV News and a shorter version of Monday night's calendar following the earlier European Championship clash. First tonight, a homeowner has spoken of her desperation over having to live in a caravan for 8 months after her house was flooded during Storm Babette, with no end in sight. Mandy Bingham and her husband are staying on the drive of their home in Clay Cross near Chesterfield and say delays by their insurance company mean no work has been started to make it habitable again. Lisa Adlam reports.
The home Mandy Bingham and her husband spent 22 years creating has been little more than a shell since last October. Home instead has been a caravan parked on the drive of the house in Clay Cross after it was flooded in Storm Babette. 8 months later, they're still waiting for their insurers to settle their claim, their lives on hold.
We had a new kitchen in 2017, that's all gone. We had a brand new sofa in January, everything's just gone. All my grandkids' toys, everything. We've just lost it all. It's been hard, it's been really difficult. It's not helped my husband's mental health whatsoever, mine neither. I've been off work sick. I've had about 5 months off work sick. It's just been so stressful. So, yeah.
Their home was one of hundreds damaged by flooding in Chesterfield and the surrounding areas during 3 days of heavy rain, with many more evacuated as water inundated entire streets.
It breached higher up because it had got nowhere to go. Normally it would have gone in there and it couldn't, so it just breached higher up and it came straight down the road. Really scary.
On Mandy's Road, a small brook which runs behind the house rose several feet in less than an hour, the water coming up through floors and devastating everything in its wake. But despite being in touch with insurance company Admiral the same day and loss adjusters having visited the scene, she says she's no closer to a resolution and the means to start again.
And still today, we don't know what we're being paid. I don't know nothing. They've not told me anything. We've no timescales. They've not started anything. It's just, I've got a platinum policy, but we've not had a platinum, dealings with them. It's not been good at all. It would be nice to know, have we got a plan when they're going to start? Have we got an ideal date when we might be moving back in? And if we knew them sort of things, it's a goal to work to. To be a lot better, but we just know nothing.
Admiral today said they were sorry for the time it was taking to settle the couple's claim, which they said was particularly complex. They said they'd paid for the caravan to allow them to remain on site, but recognised that assessments of work needed had resulted in delays to finalising a settlement, something that was currently being looked at. For Mandy, that can't come soon enough, even though the task of rebuilding a home and a life will take much longer. Lisa Adlam, ITV News, Clay Cross near Chesterfield.
A man from Leeds who's accused of planning a terror attack on St James's Hospital was described in court as a dangerous, angry but troubled man. Both the defence and prosecution summed up their cases today. The jury is expected to be sent out tomorrow morning. Adam Fowler was at Sheffield Crown Court.
Well, 28-year-old Mohammed Farouk had already pleaded guilty to firearms offences and possessing an explosive substance with intent. However, he denies preparing an act of terrorism. And today the defence said he did what he did because he was angry at colleagues. It was January last year that Farouk turned up at St James's Hospital in Leeds with a homemade pressure cooker bomb. Prosecuting Jonathan Sandiford KC highlighted how the defendant had refused to give evidence as part of the trial, so he couldn't be cross-examined. He pointed out what he said were lies in Farouk's police interviews, for instance claiming that he couldn't remember the name of RAF Menwith Hill, which is alleged to be his first choice of places to attack and which he researched and visited. Farouk's barrister, Gul Hussain KC, claimed that the narrative put forward by the prosecution didn't tally with the facts. He said his actions and intentions were horrific, nasty and vindictive, and what he was ready to commit would have been a hate-filled atrocity. But, he said, let him be punished for what he did, that which he intended, but not for something that the evidence just isn't there to support. The trial will continue tomorrow. Adam Fowler, ITV News, Sheffield Crown Court.
Police are appealing for witnesses after a man died and 5 people were injured in a crash between a double-decker bus and a Tesla car in York. A 31-year-old man from the Newcastle area who was a passenger in the Tesla died in the collision on Saturday. 3 other people in the car and the bus driver were all taken to hospital. Police are looking to speak to people who saw the incident on Wetherby Road. A 55-year-old woman has been seriously injured after shots were fired outside a pub in Rotherham. She was taken to hospital after emergency services were called to the Red Lion on High Street in Wath on Friday night. It's believed a group of men were in the area when a gun was fired. Police cordoned off an area outside the pub and found evidence of a firearms discharge. A 35-year-old woman who was killed in an alleged hit-and-run crash in Leeds has been described as a beautiful daughter, sister and mum by her family. Michaela Foles, who was also known as Kayla, was fatally injured in a crash on Thorpe Lane in Middleton on Friday night. 29-year-old Rhys Lawrence of Raylands Way has been charged with causing death by dangerous driving and failing to stop after a collision. Well, by Friday, we may have a new Prime Minister, and a new Prime Minister in 3 days' time. The country goes to the polls, of course, to decide who it'll be. Our political correspondent, Charanpreet Kaur, joins us in the studio now. And Charanpreet, what's the next week going to look like for us then?
Well, Ian, it's the last chance saloon for politicians trying to win over voters. So the race is on, they're crisscrossing the country. The party leaders, I think, are determined to pop up in more locations than you and I would find humanly possible in just a few days. So Keir Starmer kicked off the last leg of Labour's tour of the country in the home counties today. And he was sticking to that message that he's had throughout this campaign of change after 14 years of the Tories. He'll be trying to hammer that home to undecided voters in the next few days. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has been in the Midlands, notably neither of them in our region, although there is still time to change that. We'll see what the week brings. Now, we have previously spoken to the Labour leader when he was on the election trail in York. You might notice that Rishi Sunak has not spoken to us in our region yet. There is still time. He'd be most welcome if he'd like to come on the programme. So on his visit to Stoke today, we asked our colleagues at ITV Central to find out if he's lost hope in winning over Yorkshire's Red Wall.
Have you given up on the seats you won for the first time in 2019, like those in Yorkshire's Red Wall?
No, I've been pretty much everywhere across our country and will do continually until the last moment of this campaign. And I'm fighting hard for every vote in every part of our country because the choice for people is really clear. A vote for the Conservatives means your taxes will get cut, our borders will be secure and migration will come down, your pension will be protected. Now, if Labour are in charge, particularly if they're in charge with an unchecked majority, that just means they'll be able to do whatever they want.
Well, I bet the Labour Party really wouldn't mind the sound of being able to do whatever they want if they do come into government. But Rishi Sunak has been fighting quite a defensive campaign. He says he's been everywhere, but analysis shown that he's predominantly been going to seats that would have been considered safe Tory seats in the past. Now, he seems to be conceding in that interview that Labour could win this thing. Of course, the polls don't really matter. What matters is how people vote on Thursday.
It's going to be an interesting week and certainly a busy one for you. Charanpreet, thank you very much indeed. Some football now, and Leeds United fans were fearing this summer. It's understood England under-21 international Archie Gray is set for a big money move to the Premier League. The 18-year-old enjoyed a breakthrough season as Leeds missed out on promotion to the top flight, losing in the Championship playoff final. A fee of around £40 million has reportedly been agreed with Spurs, with defender Joe Rodon, who was on loan at Leeds last season, moving in the other direction. Hundreds of fans in Sheffield celebrated England's victory last night as they left it until the 5th minute of injury time to stage a late comeback against Slovakia. These were the scenes at Fan City in Devonshire Green as Jude Bellingham levelled with an audacious overhead kick. Harry Kane secured his side's place in the quarter-finals with a headed winner early into extra time. Meanwhile, Doncaster's Louis Tomlinson became the hero at Glastonbury yesterday as he brought a TV to watch the match. Festival organisers weren't screening Euro Championship matches, but the One Direction star made sure revellers didn't miss out. He and his sister set up a flat-screen TV in the middle of the campsite, which quickly became a big attraction for fans. Now, if you're watching on Friday, you'll have seen our interview with 100-metre sprinter Louis Hinchliffe from Sheffield. Well, I'm pleased to say that Louis will be on the plane to Paris for the Olympic Games later this month after winning the British Championships in Manchester at the weekend. Louis, who's trained by the legendary American sprinter Carl Lewis at Houston University, needed to finish in the top 2 in Saturday's final, but it seems finishing second isn't what Louis does. Well done to him. Well, once again, it's shaping up to be a pretty strong local contingent heading to Paris. Also heading across the channel are gymnasts Harry Hepworth from Leeds and Luke Whitehouse from Halifax. They both train at Leeds Gymnastics Club, and earlier today showed our sports reporter Arif Ahmed some of their best moves.
Harry Hepworth and Luke Whitehouse are jumping, flipping and twisting their way to the Olympics. The pair are the latest to tumble off their production line at the Leeds Gymnastics Club, and with just a few weeks to go until competition starts in Paris, the artistic gymnasts have been busy mastering their routines. How does it feel to be wearing the Team GB kit and knowing you're going to the Paris Olympics?
For me it was relief, a lot of different emotions. It's something that you dream of since being a little boy, so for it to be finally coming true is really special.
I haven't shared this actually, but when I first started, I did have a feeling that one day, I'm definitely going to be in the Olympics.
Harry took up gymnastics to help him overcome Parthes disease, a condition that affects the hip in children. Having worked his way onto Team GB, he credits his family for the sacrifices they've made over the years.
My mum and dad have dropped me off here. I'm a grandma for the past, 10 years. And for me to just not try my best, I think it'd be a bit insulting, to be honest. So yeah, mostly I think it comes from my family and wanting to do them proud.
Luke is a double European champion and is hotly tipped to win a medal at the Games. Just making the 5-strong team has been a dream. Being able to compete alongside idol Max Whitlock is the icing on the cake.
Yeah, it's really special. I've got a picture of me and Max from about 2013 of him at the British Champs, and I'm holding all his medals. And to be an Olympic team with him now is something that I still can't quite believe.
As they prepare for Paris, they hope the hard work in the gym will see them jumping for joy at the Olympics. Arif Ahmed, ITV News.
Yes, well, let's hope so. Now then, what about this pretty miserable weather? Is it going to improve? Emma Jessen can tell us.
Good visibility on the horizon. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello there, hope you're enjoying your day. It's a real mixed bag as we head into this week. Started off well enough this morning in some places. However, we have some changeable weather into tomorrow and then very wet midweek and unseasonably windy. Not very welcome at this time of year when most of the trees are in full bloom. So what's happening for the next few hours? Well, you can see that today's cloud and messy rain tries to clear away, but then it sort of ripples back in again. So making for a damp and cloudy end to the night, but that will at least hold temperatures up there. Sun's up tomorrow about 20 to 5 in the morning, sets about 20 to 10 in the evening. And it's a rather dull, uninspiring start, I should say, for many of us, but brightening up, especially in the north later on. And then it's a case of sunny spells and a few showers. Always drier further south there, to the south of the Humber, I think. More risk of showers up to the north. But because it'll be a little bit breezier, those showers move through quite quickly. Temperatures around 18 at best, maybe 20 in one or two spots. High UV where the sun breaks through. And those showers keep going into the evening. I think Wednesday is going to be the grimmest day of the week. It's really going to be quite nasty. The wind getting up 25-30 mile an hour gusts over higher ground, 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts on Thursday in exposure. More in the way of showery weather though on Thursday. Here's your pollen.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Hello, summer. Piri sponsors ITV Pollen Count.
On then to the pollen report now. Counts are a bit up and down over the next few days because of the mixed weather forecast, and also we're approaching the second peak of the pollen season, so not quite out of the woods yet. That's it for now. Bye-bye.
So the answer is no, the weather is not getting better. Thanks very much indeed, Emma. That's all from Calendar for now. I'll be back at 10:35 with our late news. For now, though, a very good night.